Okay, so the pastimes are recorded in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada summarized as a book called Krishna. Most famous is the Krishna book, so there will be some stories from the Krishna. Beginning of the Krishna book is invocation prayer. It's a prayer for protection. Of course, material world is a very fearful place. Ultimately,
we can't understand
Prabhu,
completely.
yeah.
It's breaking.
It's going on and off. Yeah, the sound is fading in and out. Abhay Prabhu, your sound. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I don't know if I can do much because I'm right next to the Wi-Fi and it's all working.
It's good at the moment.
It's good now, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's hope for the best. So Krishna is the only one that can protect us, can save us from all the fearful situations like death and Maya, illusion. He's the creator of Maya and the controller of Maya, so he's the only one that can set us free from Maya. So this is a beautiful prayer. I don't know if you've got the Krishna book handy. If you don't, it doesn't matter because it's very simple. So you can just repeat after. Krishna, 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 hey.
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 Now this time the only difference will be at the end there's a Raksha Mam, which means protect me. Next one we'll have Pahi Mam, which means maintain me. Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam.
Shri Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam.
Krishna, 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 Pa.
Krishna, 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 Pahi Mam.
Now this one's got Rama Raghava repeated with Rakshamam at the end. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam.
Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava,
Raghava.
And this one's got Krishna Keshava 3 times, Krishna Keshava 3 times, and Pahi Mam again. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam.
Okay, Lord Balaram. Well, Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. So Krishna expands unlimitedly, and we are also expansions of Krishna. But the very first expansion of Krishna is Balaram. And then Balaram expands into Sankarshan. And then Sankarshan expands into Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And then again another Sankarshan and like that. And then Mahavishnu, from whom all the universes come out of his skin pores. And then Mahavishnu expands into Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, who is a Vishnu form within the universe. And from his navel, Lord Brahma comes from a lotus. A lotus comes from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel, and Lord Brahma appears there, the first created being in the universe. And then there's a spiritual planet in the universe. In each universe, there's one spiritual planet called Sweta Dweep. it has an ocean of milk there. That's why it's called Sweta. Sweta means white. So it has a white ocean of milk there. And that's where the Paramatma resides, who's known as Siradakashaya Vishnu. So like that, there's so many expansions of expansions of expansions like that. And then the first female manifestation from Krishna is Radharani. And her appearance day comes after Krishna's appearance day. So Krishna's appearance day comes in 1 week. Today is Purnima, means full moon. I highly recommend you looking up in the sky.
Yes.
Josh, it's great. Hey, Josh. I highly recommend you looking up in the sky, because if it's a clear sky there, you'll see a beautiful full moon. So today is full moon. It's called Balaram Purnima. Purnima means full moon in Sanskrit, Purnima. So this is the full moon that Balaram appears. So it's called Balaram Purnima. And 1 week after this is Krishna's appearance day, and that's called Janmastami, Krishna Janmastami. Astami means 8. So the 8th day after the full moon, the 8th day is known as Janmastami. Janma means birth or appearance. So Krishna appeared on the 8th day after the full moon. And then Jayanti is at 2 weeks. Yeah. And then 2 weeks after Krishna's appearance day is Radharani's appearance day. And that's also Astami, the 8th day of the moon cycle. That's called Radhash. And also the day after Krishna's appearance day, very important day for us, is Prabhupada's appearance day. So he's the only reason why we know about Balaram Purnima and we know about Krishna Janmastami and we know about Radhastami is because of Prabhupada. So the spiritual master is enlightening us all about the Supreme Lord and all of his wonderful pastimes and the tattva, the philosophy about the soul and God and our relationship like that. So very
Prabhu, can I just clarify just one thing that I believe that's what I heard when you said that we are all expansions of Krishna as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's just,
So we're part and parcel of Krishna. So how is it that we're part and parcel of Krishna? Because we have expanded from Krishna. We're the energy. We're called Prakriti. So Prakriti is the energy of the Supreme One. So energy comes from source. And source. Always there. If you're not asking, you'd like to meet words.
You're breaking up, Prabhuji. You're breaking up.
Okay, there's some noise in the back.
oh yeah. Josh, sorry, Josh, can you just mute? Sorry, just while you're driving.
Everyone stay with us, but if you're not asking a question or something, just mute your speaker, just to help the things go. Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Okay. So we are the Prakriti. Prakriti means energy, and Krishna is the Purusha. So energy comes from a person. A person has energy, right? Just like we have energies. We have creative energies, isn't it? Creative energies, and we have thinking energies, and we have working energies, and we have visual energies and hearing energies. You know, you get what I'm saying? So a person has energies. So we are the energy of Krishna. So we are Prakriti, energy, and Krishna is the Purusha. He's the source of energy. So Prakriti is feminine by nature, energy is feminine by nature, and Purusha is masculine. So according to the Vedas, there's only one Purusha, Krishna, and everyone else is Prakriti. Everyone else is Prakriti. Of course, he has male expansions who are also in the God category, known as Vishnu Tattva, and they are also Purusha. They're also male by nature. Male means the male doesn't just mean a male body, and female doesn't just mean a female body. What we're talking about here is Purusha, meaning you're the controller. You're the controller and the enjoyer. That is what I mean by Purusha. So even though, like, for example, I'm in a male body, but I'm not a Purusha because I'm not the controller. I'm not the enjoyer. I'm actually Prakriti. I'm feminine. So I'm not talking about the physical body. Doesn't matter what physical body you're in. I'm talking about the nature of our being, the nature of the living entity, is that we're feminine in terms of that we are controlled ED. We're not the controller. We're under control. We're controlled, and we're enjoyed ED. We are enjoyed by the enjoyer, who is the Supreme. So the Supreme is the enjoyer, and we are enjoyed by the Supreme. So that's the nature of Prakriti. And all of our problems stem from, the root of it is that as Prakriti, we're trying to imitate the Purusha. Whether you're in the material world, whether you're in a man's body or a woman's body, everyone's trying to be a Purusha. So the woman's trying to control and enjoy, and I mean the soul in the woman's body, and the soul in the man's body is trying to control and enjoy, and it's like world war. You know, we all fight and quarrel and everything like that. We're all trying to be the controller. We're all trying to be the enjoyer. And therefore there's so much conflict and quarrel and so many things like that. And everyone's frustrated. Because no matter how much we try to enjoy, but we can't really enjoy. Because that's not our real nature. What are we trying to enjoy is this material energy. We're trying to exploit it. We're trying to exploit the resources of this material world for our enjoyment. And in the form of money, in the form of the woman or the opposite sex. You know, a woman is trying to enjoy the men, and the man is trying to enjoy the woman, and everyone's trying to enjoy money, and get power and position, and so many things like that, and all material objects, cars and phones, and we try
even men enjoy men these days. It's just
men enjoy.
See, there's I don't know if it's
frustrated. You know, say I'm a man's body and I try to enjoy a woman, but I get frustrated. I can't. The relationship doesn't end up good. So then I think I'll try something different now. Now I'll try to exploit another man, enjoy another man.
You know what? They think that Krishna is the only Purusha, that everybody is feminine. So they're trying that. Okay, everybody's feminine anyway.
Not quite like that. Not quite like that. But yeah, if we can accept that we're part and parcel of the Supreme, that we're energies of the Supreme, if our nature is to try to please the Supreme, try to serve, and then we'll find real satisfaction, real happiness. And that's called bhakti, that when we engage in the devotional service, of the Supreme. And it's very natural, just like we've talked about many times, just like natural for the hand to serve the body. Like Josh is eating at the moment, so his hand is putting food in his mouth. You know, so that
he's driving.
Yeah, one hand is driving, one hand is putting food. So that's the function of the hand. The hand is meant to cooperate with the body. So if the body wants food, the hand puts the food in the mouth. The body wants to drive somewhere, the hand, hands free, and then
Krishna and I are both.
He's doing the 4 things at a time. He's watching the road, driving, eating, and listening.
Yeah.
Multitask. He also a woman. Only woman can do multitask.
So that's the function of the part, is to serve the whole. You know, the function of the part is to cooperate, to serve. So that's our real nature. However, our category is different. So Balaram's category is called Vishnu Tattva. So Tattva means the truth. the truth, or you could say philosophy, in this case. So, or the category. So he is in the category. Sanskrit has many meanings. So he's in the category of Vishnu. That's the God category, Balaram. And there's many others, like we have the Das avatars, 10 main incarnations: Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Balaram, Buddha, Kalki.
Kalki hasn't come yet.
He hasn't come yet, but he's coming up incarnation.
He's on the way. Only
Yes.
427,000 years.
Yeah. Don't want to stick around to see him. He'll be just chopping heads.
Oh, it's not my choice. It's Krishna's choice. If he say, Gulshan, you have to stick around, I have to. If he say you don't, I don't. I'll surrender.
So,
hands up.
Yeah. All those 10 incarnations and unlimited more, they're in the Vishnu category. They're in the God category. And then others that are not, also expansions of God, but not in the God category, that's called Vibhinamsha Tattva. So that means a minute particle of the Supreme. Whereas the other ones, they're called Vibhu. They're great. They have not only the same, everyone has the same quality as the Supreme, qualitatively, but the difference is we're small and God is great. But those Vishnu category, they all are quantitatively great also. So there's no difference quantitatively, those other ones in the Vishnu category. However, with us in the Vibhinamsha Tattva, although we're the same as God qualitatively, but we're different quantitatively. We're very small. We're called Anu. Which means very small. Just like the atom is called Anu. Paramanu. I think it's called Paramanu in Sanskrit, the atom, Paramanu. So it means very small, just like the atom is very small. So the soul is 1/10,000th thickness of a hair in size. It has a measurement, but it's very small. And so we're very small and God is very great. So in the Vishnu Tattva category, they're all different forms of the Supreme Being, like that. Whereas we're all tiny parts and parcels. Like that. So Balaram is the first one. And why the next question is a good question, is why does God expand?
Good question.
Only God knows.
No, I know this.
Yeah. Do you think you know that? Only Krishna knows why you expand.
Oh, we know. Well, why do we expand ourselves in terms of a family? A man is by himself, but he's not satisfied by himself. So he gets one, woman, and then they get together, and then they produce first child, second child, third child, blah, blah, on and on. It used to go on 10 children, even more than that. So now it's only 1 or 2. But still there's a desire there to expand. Or even if you don't expand in that way, you're not satisfied by yourself, so you get 1 cat or 2 cats, or you get a dog, 2 dogs, or you get some chickens or some cows, or you know what I mean? So we tend to expand. So why do we do that?
It's just getting a company.
What are you hoping to get from the company?
Or just to the way of life. It's how can you be just alone?
How can you just be alone?
Yes.
So to counteract being alone, what do we do?
Well, we can interact with the others. We talk. We can go to temple, and that's the way interaction, and then society. That's where the society starts.
Yeah, so just like we want some interaction, isn't it? We want, we don't be alone. We want some interaction. We're social beings, that's our nature. We like some society to interact with, whether it's family or friends or associates or whatever. But we like some, or we go and play golf with some mates, or so I mean, like,
to experience with and through others is that one of the reasons? Like, to experience, through and with other souls.
Yeah, so from interacting with others, from that relationship of interacting with others, what we get out of that is called rasa. That means taste. It's a Sanskrit word, difficult to translate in English. It has a lot of meaning, but you could say it means like taste. So from two or more people interacting, it generates a taste, or Prabhupada calls it mellow. So you get a mellow or a taste derived from that relationship. So that interaction or relationship, we get a taste from that. And it has different flavors, depending, like there's a different flavor, a different taste with your relationship with your mother or father as what your relationship is going to be with your children. There'll be a different flavor, a different taste. So like Krishna has a relationship with his parents. That's called Vatsalya Rasa. So that's a parental taste. And then he has servants, and that's called Dasya Rasa. And then he has lovers, that's called Madhurya Rasa. And then he has friends, that's called Sakya Rasa. So there's different flavors, different tastes. So that comes from the spiritual world. And we're also trying to experience that in the material world. So we have different relationships here. So that's natural. And that's why God doesn't remain just all alone. He expands himself unlimitedly, whereas we expand limitedly. You know, we've got one or two expansions maybe, but God has unlimited. And first in the Vishnu category, and then in the Vivinamsha category. And then with
we do that because we feel lonely. Is that God feel lonely too?
No, God doesn't feel lonely. That's because he's expanded himself.
Okay.
It happens. It happens in a place beyond time, because the spiritual world, there's no time there. So you can't really say at some point God was alone and then he expanded and then he wasn't alone. But just to make it easy for us to understand, we say his first expansion, then the second one, and like that, just to make it easy for us to understand. But this is all happening in a realm beyond time, and it's not that also we have a beginning, because we're also eternal. Also eternal, just like God is eternal, so we're also eternal. So it's not there was a time that we didn't exist, and then we became manifested from Krishna. No, we've always been there, but the reality is also that we have expanded from Krishna, just like Balaram has. But like I said, in a place beyond time. So it's a bit of a mind bender. To make it easy for us to understand, we say first, second, third, fourth, like that, fifth, like that, to make it easy for us to comprehend. Okay, so Balaram, the name Balaram means, Bala means strength.
Strong.
Means pleasure. So he gets great pleasure from exhibiting his strength. So he'll discuss some pastimes from when Krishna and Balaram were on this earth about 5,000 years ago. That's when they were present on the earth. And when Balaram was here, he derived great pleasure from exhibiting superhuman strength. But first, we'll explain a little bit about his appearance, because this is the appearance day of Balaram. So the background behind why Lord appears in the material world, and it's mentioned in the 4th chapter, text 7 and 8 of Bhagavad Gita, is to deliver the devotees, to kill the demons, and to re-establish religious principles. So those are the 3 primary reasons why the Lord appears. Pratranaya sadhanam vinashaya viskritam dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuga yuga. Yeah, so he comes yuga after yuga, age after age, for those three primary reasons. So 5,000 years ago, the controller of the earth, who's the controller of the earth?
Krishna.
Ultimately, yeah.
Durga, no?
The immediate controller, the
Is that
person in
Durga?
No.
Durga? No.
Well, Durga
Oh.
in charge
Brahma.
just the earth, no?
Bhumi.
Josh.
Yes, Bhumi. You know, some other. So the earth goddess in Sanskrit her name is Bhumi. So the person that controls the earth has a female form. Is a female. Like the person that controls the moon has a male form, Chandra Deva, but this is Bhumi Devi. So Devi is goddess, so female, like that. So some planets are controlled by someone in a male form, someone in a female form, like that. The whole material world is under the control of Durga Devi in a female form, like that, Shakti, like that. So Bhumi was in great distress 5,000 years ago because there was so many asuras, which means demons, on the earth, and they were creating havoc and chaos and making it very difficult for those that were trying to practice a dharmic kind of life in harmony with the Lord, like that. And you know, just very mainly in the form of kings. So there was kings at that time, and the kings had become demoniac. So they were exploiting the citizens and creating terror and so forth. Kamsa is one great example. And so Bhumi, in her very upset state of mind, she approached Lord Brahma, and he couldn't figure out a solution. So what does Brahma and the demigods do when they can't work out how to solve a problem?
They go to Krishna.
They go to Krishna. Well, they can't exactly go to Krishna because Krishna's in the spiritual world. But like I said, there is one planet in the material world, which is a transcendental spiritual planet, and that's called Sweta Dweep. It has an ocean of milk there. It's also known as Dhruva Loka. It's also the pole star. So I think they call it the Milky Way. The Milky Way, that's the region where that spiritual planet is. And that's where the Saradakashai Vishnu resides, the Paramatma, the source of the Paramatma resides here. So the demigods, when they're in trouble, that's where they go. They go to that planet in the material world, Sweta Dweep, and they can't go on the island where the Lord is, but they stand on the bank of the ocean. So there's a milk ocean there. So they stand on the bank of the milk ocean, and then they pray. And the Lord is on the other side of the milk ocean, on that island there in the middle of the milk ocean. So then they pray, and then the Lord hears their prayers, and he sent a message to Brahma in his heart. He transmitted a message in his heart of Lord Brahma, telling him that don't worry, I will incarnate soon on this earth, on the earth. I will incarnate soon, and deliver all the devotees and everything like that from all their anxieties and kill the demons, establish religious principles, all those things. And I want the demigods also to take birth in the Yadu dynasty. And he ordered the demigods to take birth in the Yadu dynasty. So he said, I will appear in the Yadu dynasty, and I want the demigods to appear in that dynasty also. So that's the background behind why Krishna appeared, due to those prayers of the demigods. And also because, you know, Krishna wants to enjoy loving relationships with the devotees, and to show us, you know, ordinary living entities, that who is God? You know, because everyone asks, right, you know, who is God? What does God look like? Well, there he is. You know, Krishna came to this earth and showed who he is, and displayed his different pastimes and that. So God comes to this material world to attract the conditioned souls, because we're all in Maya, right? We're in complete illusion. We're trying to be God, you know, we're trying to exploit and enjoy this material world, but we get frustrated and we get depressed and unhappy and we suffer birth after death, and birth and death, cycle of birth and death, and we can't get out of it. So to break that cycle, God appears and says, here I am. You know, he comes playing his flute, so beautiful, attractive pastimes and everything, and he attracts our hearts with better activities than ours. You know, we have very pathetic activities that lead to suffering, but Krishna's activities are so dynamic and exciting and blissful and it's so attractive. That's why Krishna's name means all attractive. It's very attractive to everyone. So Krishna comes to attract us. Krishna comes to pacify the demigods who are feeling burdened by the demons. Actually, that's the only real disturbance in the material world. Demoniac persons are always causing trouble. Otherwise, if everyone followed the religious principles, God's words, if everyone followed God's instructions, then it'd be like heaven on earth. But the problem is that you've got the demons don't, you know, so the demons go against the principles. And even like the Bible, right? You know, if everyone followed the 10 Commandments, it would be wonderful, isn't it? Thou shalt not kill, love thy neighbor, thou shalt not commit adultery, you know, love thy Lord with all thy heart, you know, all these things. If we followed all these things, the same principles are there whether you're Muslim or Hindu or Christian, but the problem is people don't follow them, or Buddhism, you know, they're very nice, non-violence.
So what's in Quran, Deepa? Have you read that? What?
There's one in the Quran. There's one verse in the Quran says that Allah doesn't look kindly upon a person that even kills a sparrow.
That's true.
You know, the problem is that people don't look at those verses. They want to look at some other ones, you know, and like that interpret things. But yeah, the principles are you know, universal. But the problem is people don't follow them, and therefore the world is converted into a hellish place.
Or they interpret it in a way that suits them. It's interpreted in a way that suits their desires, so to speak. Yeah.
So when God comes to the world, he comes with his, like I mentioned, his eternal associates. So the demigods appeared, but also he brought his eternal associates from the spiritual world. So he has an eternal mother and father who have that position. And so they appeared as Devaki and Vasudeva, and also another set as Yashoda and Nanda. So he has many devotees that have that relationship with him as parents. So Vasudeva got married to Devaki, and Devaki's brother Kamsa was taking his sister to his brother-in-law's house on their wedding day, and then he heard that a very ominous voice from the sky said, "Oh, Kamsa, what a fool you are! You don't realize, but you're doing such a nice service for your sister, but you don't realize the 8th child, your sister, is going to be the cause of your death." Ha ha ha, like that. And then as soon as Kamsa heard that ominous prediction, was going to be the cause of his death, he pulled out his sword and grabbed his sister's hair and was going to cut her head off. Luckily, her husband, Vasudeva, was very intelligent, and he managed to pacify him by very intelligent words and said, "Look, you don't have anything to worry about now. You only have something to worry about, maybe the 8th child. We don't even know if there is going to be 8 children, but even if there is, you know, I'll tell you what, I'll bring you all the children that are born. I'll bring you, I promise you that." So also had great faith in Vasudeva's words, because he was known as a very honest person. So he didn't kill her, and then they went home. and then they were okay for some time. But then the Narada Muni wanted to speed up Krishna's appearance. He wanted to speed up Krishna's appearance. So he spoke to Kamsa and said, you don't realize that the demigods, your enemies, the demigods, could be appearing in the Yadu dynasty. And he's different ways, and he created fear in Kamsa and also his other demonic associates that the demigods would be appearing. And so he immediately imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki. And when each child appeared, being fearful that it's either a demigod appearing or that it's Krishna coming to kill him, he killed all those children. So he killed the first 6 children of Vasudeva and Devaki. So like I'm saying, demons create so much distress, so much suffering, you know. So he killed all the children. And then the 7th child she was pregnant for the 7th time, and then they were in jail, and it appeared to be a miscarriage, but it wasn't a miscarriage. What it was is that Krishna had ordered Durga to transfer the child from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. So Vasudeva had more than one wife. So one of his wives was being looked after not far away in Vrindavan by Nanda Maharaj. So she was in Vrindavan, had taken shelter of that cowherd village there. Because Kamsa was terrorizing everyone in many places. So they had been the members of the Yadu dynasty, especially like that, had been hiding from him in different places. So she was being looked after there. So Krishna ordered Durga to transfer the child from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb, and so Balaram appeared from Rohini, but actually he started off in Devaki's womb, but he got transferred to Rohini's womb. So Balaram's mother is Rohini, but originally Devaki. So that was the 7th child, and then the 8th child, that's Krishna. So we'll discuss about that next week, about Krishna's appearance. But yeah, that's how Balaram appeared. So he was transferred by Durga from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. So then he was brought up there in Vrindavan. So many sweet pastimes there, where Krishna and Balaram were enjoying so many pastimes. One, like I said, he enjoys displaying his strength. So one time there was a demon came to Vrindavan known as Pralambasura. So Pralambasura, Kamsa had been sending many of his demoniac associates who all had mystic powers and very powerful demons. He was sending them to many places to kill all the children, that were being born. Because he knew that the person that was born to kill him was somewhere, but he didn't exactly know where. He didn't exactly know who it was or where he was. So what he did, he got all of his demoniac friends to go around and kill all the children. That was their purpose. And the first one of the first ones he sent was Purnima. So she was killed, as you know, by Krishna. Purnima was killed by Krishna. So later on, another one came to Vrindavan, named Pralamba, and it's a very powerful demon. Even the demigods were afraid of him, and they all had mystic powers, so they could assume like gigantic forms, and then they could shrink them up, everything like that. So he appeared as a harmless little cowherd boy, So, but Krishna's all-knowing. So that Krishna arranged they play a game, and the loser of the game, they had to carry the winners on their back. They had to carry the winners on their back if they lost. So Palambasura's side lost. Oh no, hang on. Palambasura side won. Side lost. So Balaram had to carry no, sorry. No, what was it? Balaram side won. So yeah, Balaram was carrying Palambasura lost. So he was carrying Balaram. So his idea was to carry Balaram far away from everyone else, and when it was he was in a secluded space, he would kill Balaram. That was his plan. He would kill Balaram, and then but Balaram started to realize, hey, what's going on? My ride is taking me far away from my friends, and then the demon. So Balaram started to become heavier. He started to become heavier and heavier. So, and then the demon started to freak out, and he expanded himself up to a very large size. The demon Pralambasura became very large. And then Balaram broke and then bashed him on the head. And just one bash of Balaram by his hand, and this huge Pralambasura, he died instantly, and he fell down like a big crash. And he assumed a gigantic form, and he crashed and smashed many trees and so forth like that. So that was a lot of excitement for Krishna and his friends that this demon had been killed. And later on, after Krishna and Balaram left Vrindavan, killed Kamsa, later on, Balaram came back to pacify the gopis because they were very upset that Krishna had left Vrindavan, and they were all feeling so much separation. They were brokenhearted. So Krishna sent a message with Balaram to pacify them. And everyone loved Balaram also so much. And so Balaram spent some time with them, and they were feeling so much satisfaction from having Balaram there. And Balaram had his own cowherd girls also, gopis, like Krishna. So he was performing some rasa leela, some beautiful dances in the forests of Vrindavan with his gopis. And one demon in the form of a gorilla appeared there to disturb Balaram and the gopis. So he was hanging from the trees, and he was creating a lot of embarrassment for Balaram's gopis. He was showing his private parts in very rude ways to the gopis, and they were upset and very disturbed, and they're very shy, so they weren't happy to see all these things. And he was poking out his tongue and doing so many things, and Balaram started to become annoyed, and finally he do it, and he broke Balaram's Varuni pot. Balaram's known to love this intoxicating honey beverage. It's a honey beverage, and he would keep it in these pots. And he very much enjoyed this Varuni drink. It was like nectar. And Dvivida took the Varuni pot and broke it. So Balaram wanted to fight with him. So they started a fight. And first of all, they were pulling up trees and bashing each other with trees. and they pulled out so many trees, so there was no more trees left. So, and then they started throwing rocks at each other, and they were both incredibly strong. And then finally, Balaram just gave him one bash on the head, and that was it. He was finished. So like that, Balaram enjoyed so much displaying his strength. And why is this significant? Because, well, why do you think? Why is it important for us to hear about these displays of strength of the Lord, whether in the form of Balaram or Krishna? And why do devotees get enjoyment out of hearing the Lord this strength? May not enjoy hearing about mundane fighting, mundane wars or mundane fighting, but when the Lord fights and when the Lord defeats his opponents, we get great pleasure. Devotees get great pleasure. Why? What's the significance of that? What could it be?
Because we are the part and parcel of Krishna, so definitely its connection is there. That's why.
Is it to show that he's the supreme?
Definitely, when he does extraordinary things like defeating these demons that even the demigods can't defeat, then it does show that he's the supreme. Yeah, because it's displaying his superhuman strength, and that should be reassuring for us. Because unless you can take shelter of someone that is undefeatable, conquered, that he can defeat anyone and everyone else, he will always be victorious. I mean, Krishna's one of his names is Ajita. Ajita means conquered, and Ajita means never conquered. And he has another name, Achyuta. Achyuta means never falling down, infallible, one who never falls down. So he's never defeated. He's always going to be victorious. So unless you know that you are under shelter of the most powerful master, then will you be peaceful?
Of course. So if you know you're protected by him?
If your master wasn't unlimitedly powerful and
you wouldn't feel secure at all.
So that's the point. The devotees feel so happy that when we hear these pastimes where the Lord always defeats his opponents, no matter how strong they are, how powerful they are, he always comes out victorious. He's invincible. We like it, isn't it? When we see these movies, Superman and Superman and Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger and things. They always win. They're never defeated. They're always victorious, and they're like our heroes, aren't they? They're like our heroes. Superman and Spider-Man and all these kind of things. But they're not real, that's the problem. But we're all looking for a hero. And Krishna is the ultimate hero, and his other forms like Balaram. He's always comes out victorious. It seems like it's, finally he wins, like that. So, and just completely satisfies the devotees. And we feel so secure. We feel so protected, so safe. We need that. I mean, do we feel safe in today's society?
No.
No.
Not without Krishna's support.
That's right. And also, I mean, just materially, because the government, they don't protect us. The government's not protecting us. We don't feel safe. Even if we lock our houses and everything, we still don't feel safe. I mean, like, I'll give you an example. In New Zealand, the statistics are, if your business gets burgled, robbed, or whatever you want to call it, only 1 in 10 cases are attended by the police. So 1 in 10 places that the police turn up, and the other 9, the police never even come. Very inspired to do business. No, so that's why so many businesses are like closing, because it's just like the criminals are running riot. And how many of the criminals get convicted? I think 4%. So you've got a 96% chance that you're never even going to get caught. Then the criminals are having a party. You know, so it's, like I'm saying with God, when we come under the shelter of God, we can realize that, like, through these pastimes, that He's always going to protect us. He's not like some useless government or something, or some mundane person. He can actually give protection. Every time, doesn't matter what happened in Krishna's pastimes, Krishna always protected his devotees. One time they were surrounded by a forest fire, and Krishna protected them. We haven't been doing so well with fires around the world, have we? So many fires, and people just dying like anything in Maui and so many places. But what we have to learn is we have to take shelter of Krishna. Krishna's the only one that can protect us, whether it's forest fires, crazy demons like that, or whatever. You know, so it's past. It's not just we take it superficially that, you know, Balaram's just bashing a gorilla. What's the relevance of that? No, but what we should realize is that this is the kind of person I want to surrender to, that I want to take shelter of. He's the one that can protect me, just like he protected the gopis and the cowherd boys and everything like that. So he can protect us also. He's our real hero. And he's not just a movie hero that doesn't exist in reality. But he's the and in that situation, we can be fully enthusiastic. We can be fully enthusiastic. We can be very determined in all of our activities. We don't have to be fearful like that. So you see Prabhupada, right? And 70 plus, normally you'd be, you know, very scared about doing anything, stepping out of the door if you're over 70. But Prabhupada was fearlessly traveling all over the world, you know, taking so many risks because he knew that Krishna was there to protect him. You know, even when he had the 2 heart attacks on the ship over in 1965, 2 heart attacks. But he said that Krishna appeared to him in a dream, and when he was having those heart attacks, and that Krishna protected him. Otherwise, he said he would have died then. But Krishna protected him. So like that, it's very, very reassuring for us to know that we have such a powerful master. I mean, one time I was walking on a beach in Juhu in Mumbai, and it was one dog walking with its master, a small dog with the man, and then there was a big stray dog came, and the big stray dog gave a big bark, woof, and was the little dog afraid?
No.
Why?
Because he's with his master.
Because it's a powerful master. If the little dog was by himself and the big dog barked, what would happen?
Oh, tail in between the legs and run.
Yeah. But only because he was under the shelter of his big master, he had no. And then the little dog gave a little bark. With big dog ran away. And the big dog ran away. The big dog, why was he scared? He was
Because
big.
he hasn't got any master.
Doesn't have a master. So that's we are under the shelter of
You're breaking, Prabhuji.
I can't do anything about that. But is it better now?
Yes.
So I was just saying that's what we have to realize, that someone that's Krishna conscious, they're always in the awareness that I'm being protected. They become free from fear. Just like Prabhupada's name. You can read it in the books, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So his mother and father gave him the name A.C., which is Abhay. So Abhay means fearless, and Charan means feet. So specifically, whose feet? God's feet. So Charan indicates how can there be fearlessness? Because if we come under the shelter of God's feet, under the shelter of God, and symbolically God's feet, if we come under the shelter of God, or his feet, you could say, and in that situation, that's where the fearlessness is. So you can't have the Abhay without the Charan. You know what I'm saying? You can't have the Abhay, fearlessness, without having the Charan. Means you need the shelter of God's feet. Then automatically, as a byproduct, as a result, you'll get the fearlessness, which is what you want. But without that shelter, you can't. On your own, you can't just be fearless all by yourself without any protection. Because like I said, our nature is we're Prakriti, we're the energy. We're very tiny, we're anu, we're very small, we're not Vibhu. If we were Vibhu, if we were great, then yeah, you don't need any shelter. You're giving shelter to others. But no, that's not our constitutional position. We are anu, we're very small. So we need protection, we need shelter. And not just protection from not just protecting the body. And for a spiritual person, it's not just that we want the body to be protected. As we know, sooner or later the body's going to die, right? You can't do anything about it. Doesn't matter whether you believe in God or you don't, you're going to die. So you can't get protected from death. So although the Lord may protect for some time, like I said, he protected Prabhupada when he was having a heart attack, right? So he had more time. Eventually Prabhupada left, of course, in 1977. But when he was in 1965, he said Krishna protected him from those heart attacks. So some situations the body may get protected, but what's the real protection that we want?
You talking about to go not to come back to this planet.
The real protection is, what happens after the body dies.
Yes, very good.
Noisy.
Yeah, so the real protection is after the body dies. That where is the soul going to go? So with the Lord, soul elevated, or straight out of the material world and liberated into the spiritual world. And that's moksha. Interestingly, one of Krishna's names is Mukunda. Mukunda. So Mukunda means the one who gives the liberation, the mukti, or the moksha. So one who gives you a moksha, that's liberation. So that's the real protection. That's the real shelter we can get from the Lord. And you're not going to be able to get that from anyone else. You're not going to get that anywhere. Only the Supreme Being can set us free from this material world just by our own efforts. Doesn't matter how strong we are, then you're not going to get out of the material world. You can't escape death. Doesn't matter how strong you are. You can't escape death, and also you can't get emancipation or liberation from the soul without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So that's the real protection. So it's said that, especially on this day, or every day, but especially on Balaram's appearance, then we pray to Balaram to please give us strength. Because like I said, his name means strength. Bala means strength, and Rama, he enjoys displaying his strength. So he is famous as having so much strength. So we pray to Balaram to please give us the spiritual strength to go back to Godhead, to go to the spiritual world. So to go to the spiritual world is only with spiritual strength, by the merciful upliftment of the Lord can get us out of here. You can't get out of the material strength. That's not possible. So when we're talking about bala or strength, this doesn't just mean material strength, but it means spiritual strength. Spiritual. So we pray to Balaram for the spiritual strength, that we can overcome all the obstacles to us going back to Godhead, to our getting liberated. What are some obstacles that we have?
Do you mean all our senses?
I can give some examples. What are some difficulties that we are facing? What are some obstacles, some difficulties, things that we're struggling with that are getting in the way of our spiritual progress? Giant is saying
ego.
Yeah. Our false ego. Our false ego. Our false ego is an obstacle. If we got bad health, that could be an obstacle. Or if you've got good health, that could be an obstacle. If you're enjoying too much good health, that could be an obstacle.
Too much money is an obstacle too.
Yeah, if you've got too much money, that could be an obstacle.
And then too little money.
Ignorance.
Endless distractions.
Distractions.
Yeah.
Distractions, material things give us the different distractions.
Or beautiful women.
Relationships can distract us. Yep, like that. So there's so many obstacles, and the uncontrolled senses, that's a big one. That's why we get distracted, because the senses aren't controlled. The senses aren't controlled, and that's why we get distracted. So that's a big obstacle, is our own senses. It's through the senses that we get distracted by all these things. We see some beautiful woman or handsome man. We hear about some. We want to taste some, McDonald's or a KFC or something like that. So through the senses, we get taken away in different ways. So like that, there's so many obstacles on the path of getting out of here. Things that try to pull us down like that. So we can pray to Balaram to please give us the strength. Please, Balaram, give us the strength to overcome these different obstacles on my path of bhakti, and serving Krishna and going back to Godhead like that. So that's a nice prayer to Balaram today. Please give us spiritual strength. And there's some other pastimes displaying some This is after when Krishna had gone to Dwarka and created an island fortress there off the west coast of India. And he married 16,108 princesses, and each of them had 10 children. So one of those children was named Samba. And Samba, he was very attracted to Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana. So he kidnapped her, and she had her called Swayamvara ceremony. Swayamvara ceremony is where a princess would invite princes to come and display their strength and everything like that, and they would sometimes compete with each other. And the one that she liked, she would accept as her bridegroom and marry. But Samba came there in that ceremony and just kidnapped her. And this was very common in the Kshatriya or warrior class. This was very common. That's what you want, and in terms of the Kshatriyas are the leaders of society. Who do you want as a leader in society? Do you want a weak leader, or do you want a strong leader?
Strong leader. Wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom. You want wisdom, but also you want them to be physically strong. Because remember, you want the leader to be one important role of a leader is to control all the criminals. He has to control all the criminals, and thieves have to be scared out of their wits.
Not only strong, has to be intelligent too.
But if they have intelligence but no strength, that's pretty useless.
But if he's intelligent, he can be strong. He can use other strength too. If they're dumb, no matter how big is he can't rule that. This is the one. Brain is the one rules.
Yeah, but still they have to be physically strong because they have to do any enemies. Like, I'll give you an example. If there's a war, where would the king be? The king would be in the bunker, underground concrete bunker, while all the poor soldiers are fighting, or where would he be? Where would he be on the battlefield?
Today's king is in the bunker, but
today's king is in the bunker. That's
but
correct.
then the original kings would be in the front of the army.
Not in the middle, but in the front. And what is required to win the battle? What do you have to do to win the battle?
Intelligence.
Courage.
Lead.
Courage.
Yeah, I know, but what is how do you know when the battle is won? What do you have to do? Do you have to kill everyone?
No.
What happens when the battle is won?
When you defeat others, then you basically it's other party defeated.
You have to kill the king. If the king on killed, the battle's over. That's it.
Or he runs away.
There's no original things. Now there's running away. But that was
no. There was one story.
But then it's the Osama bin Laden has been killed, but the battle is not over.
No, this is there's no kings.
He's
anyway,
the king of
of conspiracy stories about that. There is whatever his name is.
Osama bin Laden was made by the West as an excuse to get in and go and do what they want to do.
So as long as Zelensky is there, war will be still there. Zelensky, Putin, and Biden.
All they had to do was kill the king, But that's he's so powerful. If you need physical strength, I mean, sure, I agree. You have to be intelligent, but you need physical strength. That has. So that-
it's both.
that's wrong. To have like a prince coming in and kidnapping the princess and everything and fighting with the other princesses, with the other princes, because you want to have that blood there in the rulers, that they're very strong, very powerful. So only the very strongest survive. All the weak ones, all the weak royalty get killed off, and the very strongest ones, they continue the whole system. So they're very powerful like that. So it wasn't frowned upon, as I'm saying, for the kings to go and kidnap a princess and so forth like that. It was actually, they would enjoy seeing that, how he has so much prowess, and he's so chivalrous and like that, powerful and everything. So anyway, kidnapped her. And then, but they planned to get the princess back. They wanted the princess back. So they all ganged up on him. They ganged up on Samba, and while he was going away on the chariot, and about six, I can't remember, 6 or 8 of them, 6 or 8 kings, they all attacked him at the same time. And then that's wrong according to the Kshatriya rules. It should be one-on-one. You can't have a whole group of them gang up on one person. But he was just so powerful, one of them couldn't have stopped him. So the whole lot of them got together and stopped him, kidnapped him. And they took him back to Hastinapur, which is now known as New Delhi. So that was the capital of the world. The one emperor there.
Yeah, I remember that all because I'm from Delhi.
Yeah, so they took him back to Hastinapur. And then when Krishna's family heard that his Samba had been unrightfully captured by the Kaurava army, then they all army together, and they marched towards Hastinapur, Delhi. So then, before they went in and attacked, Balaram said, "Hold on, just let me go and speak to them. I mean, they have a lot of respect for me." Balaram was well liked by many of the Kaurava army, especially Duryodhan, who was the leader. Duryodhan had learnt how to use the club from Balaram. Balaram is famous for a club, fighting with a club. So it's called the Gada. So Duryodhan had learnt how to use the club from Balaram, was like his guru for the club. So Balaram was very well respected. So he said, "Let me go in and try to talk with them and see if we can get Samba back without having to fight." Because they're all related to each other, so they didn't really want to fight unless they absolutely had to. So Balaram went there, and they welcomed him and everything like that. But then they said some very insulting words about Krishna, and Balaram got very upset that they were insulting Krishna, and then they didn't want to give Samba back. So they stormed off and went back into the city, and Balaram got angry, and his eyes went really red, and his face became more colourful, and he grabbed his plough. Balaram had 2 things. He had a plough and a club. So the plough, of course, was used for farming activities, because remember, Balaram appeared in Vrindavan, a village environment, so they did a lot of farming activities. When God comes to the world, he shows, how to live an ideal life. So Krishna was showing, protecting the cows, look after the cows, milk the cows, and Balaram was showing, plow the land, grow the grains and everything like that. So this is how God wants us to live in this world. Live a simple life, produce your own food, grow your own food, milk the cows, live a simple life, chant Hare Krishna, go back to Godhead. So this is what God is showing by example, how we should live in harmony with nature and God and live a simple life. So like that, he carried a plow, and he also carried a club for killing demons, like that. So he took the plow and he started to dig the earth around Hastinapur, which is Delhi. And he started to drag the whole city into the Yamuna. So the Delhi is right next to the Yamuna. There's a big river, Yamuna, there. So Balaram started to separate the city from the surrounding earth and drag the whole city. So, that's not a small time feat. Only God can do that, right? And Delhi is not a small place. It's a massive place. So he's unlimitedly powerful. So soon it felt like an earthquake going on. It felt like an earthquake. So as soon as that happened, the Kauravas brought out Sambar and Lakshmana, his wife, brought them out and said, here, have it back. I'm so sorry. Please forgive us for our offensive words. We apologize, and please take them, and like that. So, and they were actually, it said they did that just to witness. They wanted to witness Balaram's power. They did that, purposefully, upsetting him a little bit to witness his super human power. So like that, Balaram displayed so many wonderful pastimes, and through hearing about these pastimes, we should develop attraction for the Lord in the form of Balaram and Krishna. And both of them, displayed so many powerful adventures and defeated all the enemies. And the devotees always came out victorious. Devotees always saved, in all these difficult situations. Balaram, rescued Samba in that difficult situation. And by hearing about these things, we should feel very secure, very safe, like that. That's one thing I get from hearing these pastimes. So whenever we're feeling some difficulty, we can pray to the Lord, pray to Krishna, pray to Balaram. Devotees pray to Nrsingadev, the lion form, to protect us in difficult situations like that. Pray to them for strength to overcome obstacles like that. Would anyone like to say anything? Or if you know any other stories, or if you don't understand something I was saying?
Don't ask for the stories, otherwise the class will be another 10 hours. I won't stop.
Some, Balaram, you want to say something?
No. I don't know. I don't know. I know nothing. That's all I know. I know nothing. That's all I know. But no, it's...
Someone asked the difference between Krishna and Balaram, and Prabhupada said the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is that Balaram is white and Krishna is blue. So they're on the same. They're on the same level. Krishna blackish, bluish, and Balaram is white. But on the spiritual platform, they're all on the equal level. There's no real difference. Krishna is God and Balaram's God, but they have different forms. It's the same God, but in different forms. Of course, they all have their own personality, but forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that. But it's said that Balaram is he's the Supreme Servitor Godhead. He's the Servitor Godhead. What does that mean? So even though he's God, even though Balaram is God, but his mood is as a servant. He loves to serve who? Who does Balaram love to
Krishna.
That he loves to serve Krishna. He's God. Balaram is God. But even though he's God, he loves to serve Krishna. So what should be our position? Yeah, we're not, you know, even different forms of God love to serve Krishna. So what about us? You know, we should take great pleasure in getting an opportunity to do some service. Even God himself likes to serve. You know, what does that tell you? Even God himself likes to serve. Even Krishna, he enjoys serving who? Who does Krishna serve?
Radharani.
The devotees,
The
maybe.
devotees. Yeah.
Krishna serves Radharani. He serves all the devotees, you know, all the pure devotees. He serves Arjuna. Hey, what service was Krishna doing for Arjuna?
The chariot.
He was a
ride.
chariot driver.
Yeah.
Chariot, that's a service. He was acting as a servant of
Balaram was his energy in the mood of Radharani, was it or not? Or am I getting it wrong?
What do you mean in the mood of Radharani?
No, I don't know. I mean, I might have confused it with something else because when you said that
Yes,
he
like,
is
she's saying,
Balarama's light
yeah,
skin.
she's saying that like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani. So
that's the one.
Balaram
Okay,
the
I
mood
mixed
of.
it up. Correct. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
What's your
That-
Krishna in the mood of Radharani?
What's the
okay.
Balaram mood
No,
of?
But, both Balaram and Radharani, you could say they're like our gurus. They're our gurus. So in that way, they're teaching us how to serve Krishna. They're serving Krishna and teaching us how to serve Krishna. So you could say that we approach Krishna through Balaram or through Radharani. Said that Balaram is like the original guru. He's like the original spiritual master. And, you know, he's teaching us how to serve. So, like that. So, and also Radharani is like that. She is serving Krishna and, you know, and teaching us how to serve. She is the goddess in control of bhakti. She is the Bhakti Devi. You know, this process of devotional service is her domain. You know, she is the chief. Like, yeah, they're our role models. They're our role models. They're our guru. You know, Balaram, Radharani, like that.
Without dragging the class out too much or anything, but I was just, you know, just talking about Balaram being the first expansion of Krishna and Balaram's God. But, you know, if you mention to somebody about how we are all also expansions of Krishna, but we are hardly, I mean, the drop of water and the ocean is different. But, you know, people don't understand that. You know, they think that's where all this, I think, people, you're also aware about how, you know, that people talk about how we are also God, kind of that sort of conversations and thinking that's there in. And so how would you explain? I mean, the way that I've been trying to explain is that, you know, a drop of water, as we all know, and an ocean or a vast body of water is completely different in its size and strength and whatever that it can do, you know. That's along those lines. But I mean, how do you counter that or explain that to people? I'm just wondering.
You just have by saying that, just like the drop of water of the ocean, even like the spark of the fire in the fire. I also like the fire as part of the fire. It's not separate.
But the argument then is then, so what's the difference? I mean, if Balaram, I mean,
Quantity.
is the first expansion, and how come he's God, and then what's the difference? Us as expansions. I'm sorry, yeah, just trying to.
Like I say, he is the whole God, Balaram. Balaram is the Prabhupada explains it, or the Brahma Samhita explains it as just like if you have the first candle, and from the first candle you light the second candle. And the second, is there any difference between all the different candles?
It doesn't diminish the first one.
But I mean, none of them are diminished in any way. They all have the same power. I mean, if you look, like you go to a church, right, and they have 100 candles, is there any difference in those 100 candles?
But then the argument is then there is no difference between me and God. That's the thing. Yeah, because I have experienced this kind of conversation, and then I just back off, like I don't go any further. Yeah.
You can say quantity and quality.
Yeah.
Hang on. That Vishnu category, the Vishnu Tattva, the Vishnu category, the God category, the Vishnu category, that's like candles. They all have the same power. Although there was the first candle, right? But that first candle lit the other ones. You see what I'm saying? The power is the same. Power is the same, but the first candle was there that lit the other candles. So what I'm saying is Krishna is the first one, and from him, Balaram has come, and Vishnu has come, and Matsya and Kurma and Nrsimha, like that. But they all have the same power. What I'm saying.
But we don't have the same power. Is that what
But but we are being expansions of Krishna.
If you follow Prabhupada, you'll get the same power.
No.
No, I don't.
In the beginning, our category is not Vishnu. We're not in the God. We're not all the same.
Yeah, we're not in that same category. Okay.
Like a spark of the whole fire. Krishna's we're like a spark. Well, you said a drop of water, and Krishna's or Krishna's the whole body, and we're the finger. We're the finger, we're the hand, and he's the whole body. So he's the whole, and we're the part. That candle analogy is to explain that all of those different forms of Vishnu or God have the same power. Like Balaram, Varaha, and Kurma, and Rama, like that, they have the same power as Krishna. But our situation is different. We're not on that God Vishnu category. We're
different platform.
However, it is important to say that we have the same qualities. That explains that we have an intimate relationship. There is a connection here. If you just said we are completely different from God, there's nothing in common. We're all completely different. God is great, we are small, but we don't have any connection. Where's the relationship? How are we going to get that love to develop if there's no relationship there? It's like, why do we have such a nice relationship with our parents?
Because they're nourishing us.
Why don't you have such a relationship?
Because if any neighbor father is nourishing me, I'll love neighbor's father. Simple as.
The guy down the road, the people down the road, you don't even know them. You don't even know what their names are. But you know your father and your mother, and you love
relationship. There's a connection, the relationship.
You come from them. You come from their bodies.
We don't really know that we come from them. Society tell them that's why we believe in that. Isn't it?
Oh God.
If you are adopted and you are different parents, you start believing that they're my parents. That's it. You are adopted, and then that's it. They are nourishing me, and they're my parents. We can't recalling that. Yeah, this is my father. Only mother can tell, yeah, or we believe in that. Same thing.
Saying there's a relationship there when there's some similarities, like our body comes from their body, right? So that creates a relationship. There's some connection.
They've nurtured us.
They've nurtured us.
But Gulshan's argument, like for adopted children, it's
Yes.
I think
Because
it is.
they believe in that they're my parents, that's it. They're not from them.
Take
But
care.
still they are respecting their own.
They're cared for and provided for by these people. So more than the biological, it's that the caring and the providing.
Because
and
the Krishna,
the
Yashoda raised that, but the Krishna was the son of Devaki, and then raised by Yashoda. But he just Yashoda think he thinks he's my mother, but Krishna is a god. But if one son born with the one lady and go to the next one, he thinks he's my mother.
The child has a relationship with the parents. The parents maintain.
We feed to the child. Yes, you are my son. I'm your father. She's your mother, and child believe in that. And then when he raised, and you see every day, when he need a pair of shoes, he asks his dad. When he needs a push bike, ask his dad. He's my dad. That's it. And then you know what? A lot of in Australia, they're paying the child support, and then at the later they realize that they're not the father of the child.
Oh no! Let's not go there.
It happens. I'm not lying. It's truth. In Australia, it's happened that. Bob's smiling. Bob knows that. Hey, Bob.
I'm staying out of it.
Come on. You have to speak out. Speak out loud, because if you're Krishna is the truth, and if you is the truth, you have to say yes. You can't go against Krishna, do you? Today, Balaram Jayanti.
Now listen, I'm going to head off, team.
Okay.
Hey, Krishna. Now listen, don't forget I won't be, you may not see me for 3 weeks because I'm getting my dentures.
Okay.
What's the dentist got to go to see you?
Mate, it's the only time I can get in is at 2:30.
No.
Thursday.
Not acceptable. Not acceptable.
See ya. Take care and look after yourself.
Okay.
Lovely to see you, Deepa.
Hare Krishna.
See you, Krishna.
That's okay. All good. We are the part and parcel of Krishna, and that's it. I don't know anything more, and I don't want to know anything more. That's it. Done. I'm done.
Yeah. I understand that there is some similarity between us and God is important.
Yeah.
Some common qualities, that's very important for the relationship. If we had nothing in common with God, if we had nothing in common, then how are we going to develop a relationship? God is different and I am different, then it's going to be very hard to develop a relationship. But when we understand that there is some common ground, there is some link there, some oneness, then that's going to help the relationship to develop. Otherwise bhakti wouldn't be natural.
Yeah.
To love God wouldn't be natural if there's no connection between us and God. No, but there is a connection, that we come from God, and He maintains us, and He protects us and nourishes us, and He loves us, and so for the relationship for us to love Him and serve Him is very natural. Otherwise, if there's nothing similar, then you only have a relationship between objects that have some similar points, right? Like we love generally, if you have the same species, they have some love between each other, right? You don't see that, a frog loves a frog. Frog doesn't love a dog. A dog loves a dog. Dog doesn't fly. So
snake loves the frog too.
So having the same.
Shut up, Deepa. Concentrate.
it's very important to understand there is some common things between us and God. I mean, otherwise, how are you going to have a relationship? It's not possible. We're like his children, you know, and we have a very, you know, intimate connection with him, and he loves us and we love him. And otherwise, yeah, no one's going to be interested to connect with God if you just present that he's completely different from us. So that's why we say simultaneously we are one with God in quality and different from God in quantity.
Yeah.
Both at the same time. Qualitative one means he's eternal. We're also eternal. He's conscious. We're also conscious. His nature is
only difference is that he is like, you know, he's what do you call it? We do come and go, like, you know, died and things like that, but he's not. He's adikal, anadikal. What do you call them? He was and he is and he will be, but we are not, like, you know, we will be different form. I mean, like, you know, we can be coming here with the different shape and sizes, but only thing is we don't know that. He knows that. That's the difference.
Yeah, see, we have the same qualities as him, but in minute amounts. We have amounts of it. That's why we get covered over by Maya.
Yeah.
Because it's very tiny. Whereas he never gets covered by Maya because he's so great, so unlimited. Like that.
Like, he comes in a reincarnation and we come that too. Whether it's a, you know, cow, elephant, dog, whatever's there. The only difference is he remember and we don't.
Well, I mean, our incarnation is not really the same because we're forced. We're forced
Yes,
into
that's the difference.
a particular form.
We are the product and he's the manufacturer.
Like I said, we're under control and we're enjoyed. Our nature is to be enjoyed by him or to serve him. Whereas his nature is he's the controller. He's the enjoyer and we're enjoyed by him. We're controlled by him. And that relationship, then if we operate in that way, then things go very well. Like I said, that little dog is serving the big master, is very happy. Little dog tries to be independent, then it's going to be like that stray dog, right? If you're going to go if the dog leaves the master and to be independent, then it's a very miserable life. But that little dog, he's very happy, you know, just serving his master. So we also want to be where this is what the Guru is teaching us to learn, you know, how to be satisfied, how to be happy, and in serving the Lord. And then we'll be like that little dog with a very powerful master.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Happy Balaram Jayanti. Wonderful
Are you
evening.
at the farm, Gulshan?
No, at Bhakti Tree is open. And you know
Oh.
what? The higher authority says